Hello and welcome to my second attempt to highlight something that I really enjoyed and liked in a patch. Last patch I have stated that we have had it good and that the story and environment was very awesome and that we need to say these things out loud in order to remember them and not just spiral down the negativity stream, which can sometimes be very easy when you get bored, run out of things to do, or are finding a lot of issues about the game that you like. So today we're gonna be going through Realm of the Past, which is Madel's dungeon, and we're gonna be doing it after the story. This means that there's no story elements in it, there's no Madel, there's no her brother, it's just the environment itself. Because I want to say that this dungeon, it has left such an impressive impression on me that I couldn't stop thinking about it for several days. I even gone out of my way to try and translate the song that plays at the end of it. So to begin with, you have Madel's brother, McGill, the guy that's now clan chief, inviting her to play with blocks. We're in a mindscape, but this is why everything is so blocky and airy and childlike. This isn't Madel's childhood, this is her baby brother's childhood, where she indulges his desire to play. And that's what a lot of people inside the story say, that she was very serious, except with her brother, where she would actually agree to play with him and played with him quite often. She had to take on all of their parents' responsibilities. She had to effectively raise her brother, so she was the responsible one, and she didn't really have the time or the chance to have fun. Her brother did. So this is the first very interesting point where everything starts to go quite wrong, because her brother was able to just continue forward through this blocky world, while for her, the path is not such straightforward. She can't take the same path as her brother does because she is already suffering from the soul rift. She started suffering from the soul rift very early on, and if you're playing this through the story, this is where you literally walk out of the scene into this little side alley where her personal thoughts get expressed. Of course, this being a Nikki game, I snapped a picture, as you do whenever you encounter a whole bunch of suffering people. So her personal thoughts included things as, it hurts so much. Why does it hurt? Somebody save me. She was putting on a fake, brave face for her brother while living in a very debilitating way. She didn't have time to be sick. She didn't have time to be the ill one. But underneath, she wanted help. But there wasn't anyone to give her help. So, excuse me, put back my platform. Thank you very much. Platforming game, don't do that again. We're gonna wait this out because Mirta's going through an emotional dungeon. This doesn't mean that she's great at platforming. So she kind of has to just come back out into her brother's world, which is very, very colorful and happy and joyous, where he's just being a child and pretend that everything is okay. There are such cute little bits in this dungeon where they build their own little swing set, they build things out of blocks, they effectively build their own familiar warmth because these children, from what I understand, their parents disappeared fairly early on. And as time progresses and things get serious, the world that they build actually represents the world that they used to build with blocks. You have the windmill that you build with blocks. You have the swing set that you build with blocks. Slowly, the flowers that Madel loved are blooming. It's red and foreboding, but this is also the quiet and calm place. This is the quiet before the storm, where your world is already adult, but your world is not yet falling apart. And it's quite interesting what it is that makes her fall apart in particular. The music slowly starts intensifying. There's no outside forces acting on Madel just yet, but her brother also started suffering from soul rift symptoms because he's a Perksolian too. And the fact that her brother starts suffering it hits her a lot harder than her suffering it. You can hear her upset as the music grows and grows at this point in the dungeon design when you're going through it with the whole story enabled. You can hear her upset being very palpable. I totally don't stop and start this recording because I'm very, very bad at navigating and speaking at the same time. And I totally didn't like run to the very beginning of the level, entirely forgetting where I'm supposed to go, now that I have actually fully cleared the level. Hurrah! This whole part is actually entirely out of her trying to light up her world that's trying to decay right in front of her. And her brother that she's very worried about would probably be the best way to put it. In a way, her brother used to be her light, and then he starts suffering from the affliction that they all suffer from as well. This is the most straightforward path if you have already cleared the dungeon. If you haven't, the story takes you in a slightly different direction, but this is where we're going. And of course, great photo locations. I don't know how much often do I actually want to redo dungeons just to take pictures, but the red flowers are very striking. We don't need to worry in here, but by this point in the story, the flowers start to decay. You actually don't want to stand on flowers. You want to stand on what doesn't have flowers, kind of symbolizing Madel's internal decay, likely. Oh, that's a nice way of getting through. Just like pick up the lamp and don't actually put it anywhere. And of course, that leads to the break of Madel. She gets recruited into destruction from pain, worry, and empathy. She believes that any souls that are intermingled with dragons are corrupted, and that the only way to achieve actual peace and rest is through the destruction of all souls affected by the dragons. She doesn't want destruction for anyone outside of her race, but she doesn't quite know how to escape her race's suffering. And you can see it in the architecture has entirely cracked. The light is gone. The light is gone from her world. And it continues going. Oh! My windmill. Forgot to fix it. this is a point where she has already settled on her path to destruction. It's empowering to her because it leads to the destruction of suffering as well. To peace that they couldn't have. And the song in here is only supposed to be background noise, but I'm gonna shut up and I'm gonna let you listen to it. It loops, I know, because I have stood here listening and analyzing it for far too long, and I even have recording. Just for myself, it seems to be either Icelandic or Old Norse. I got help from my husband. We got help from every translator ever available to try and figure out what this is that plays here. And the reason why I say we think it's Old Norse because I'm not entirely 100% about the lyrics that we managed to write out. It's in the description down below. They seem like something that's fitting, but not like every single word. We tried to like clean up just like the sounds, identify and like write them down. But when you translate the text, it actually makes sense. Which is the thing that makes me think that we must be on the right track. If I was to read the translated lyrics from Old Norse to English, which Old Norse might be what this is, I might be completely off track, but might be what this is. The singing voice is saying this: "The falcon delivered me into the blackness. So listen, I have worn the battle you have warned. I have warned the winter. I bid farewell to the dark. A dying cry. I bid farewell to the beautiful in the fading night. The beautiful in the fading night. Flower of roses, blow the horn, and find salvation, as those fiends thunder." And the chorus chants, "They drift like mist, they take, and find salvation in between them. They drift like mist, they take, and find salvation in between them." If you are set on a path of destruction, and you believe that the path of destruction is what is gonna save you from the pain that you're experiencing your whole life and that you see your family suffer with, please tell me that salvation through darkness is not a fitting theme to be playing in the background. And this is details that people aren't gonna give a shit about. Most people use this as a backdrop for pictures. It's not like we go back or we think twice about old dungeons, and yet look what they have done with this. This is both her last place, the last bit of her life. It has such a dark undertone, but it's presented in such uplifting colors. She's climbing towards the flower, towards salvation. She's doing it through the ruin, and but her path is leading her through rose petals. She sees the light again, even though the light is no longer nostalgia, her brother, or holding on to the past. She has hope in her fatalistic approach to things. And please tell me that this is not a fitting theme for this sort of thing. I'm pretty sure that every human on this planet can relate to suffering in some way, shape, or form, be it through disability, through poverty, through hunger, through emotional neglect, through trauma. I think we're all with enough emotional depth and experience to also know that fatalistic thoughts before the end can lead to a happier feeling because you have a plan, because you aren't stuck in the misery. And they took that idea, they took that feeling, and they projected it as visual medium, but even more, they projected it as music. It's why I couldn't escape this song, and I listened to it on the loop for quite a long time. There's a lot of care and attention put into this dungeon, and I hope that with this video I portrayed a little bit why it had such a hold on me and why I think that this is a stroke of genius. So if I have to find one element in every patch, probably not every patch, really shit patches I wouldn't do this for, but this is not a shit patch. If I had to find one element that impressed me in the patch, especially this patch, this would be it. The telling of suffering, of fatalistic thoughts, and of the end projected as a visual medium. The story of Model told without words, pictures, or narrative. You do get narrative the first time around, but I find that this is even deeper without it. It's like trying to interpret an abstract painting. You can see the emotion, you have an inkling what the story is about, you can see the feeling behind it, and it's up to you to put the rest of the pieces together that make art art. And this is art. When people say that video games are art, this is art. So this is why this dungeon is so incredibly impressive to me, and why I want to highlight it as the good thing in this patch. For me, the main thing of this patch that I'm gonna be taking away is the emotional impact this dungeon has left on me. And I'm once again making the conscious effort to remind myself that we had this, that it was impressive, that it was beautiful, that it was incredibly well orchestrated and executed, and that this was the good thing, so that I don't just like spiral into full-on negativity, and I can share with you why I do actually love this game. So, thank you for watching. If you have any input on the lyrics, please actually do give me input on the lyrics, because Once again, I have the untranslated ones in the description down below. I'm not entirely sure that they're entirely correct, but for some reason these lyrics that we arrived at, they seem very fitting for what is happening in the story, and not just like a mishmash of gobbledygook, which makes me think that, yeah, I think I got the language correct, and I think I got maybe 60-70% of the words correct, because it makes sense, you know what I'm saying? So if you can pinpoint it even more accurately, do actually do that in the comment section down below. If you notice any developer interviews or videos or anything about that, also do drop them to me. At the moment when I'm recording this, I couldn't find anything, but when I'm recording this, the patch is still new, so I imagine that they explain these kind of things and the visual inspirations and sound inspirations and what they were trying to get at with music at a later point. So yeah, if you have any like research angles for me to take on, I would at the very least love to read about it myself, so like tell me down in the description down below. And YouTube sometimes hates links, so just like tell me what to Google. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you so much for my Patreon supporters. And I'm gonna see you in other videos that are gonna be either a bit more lightweight or at the very least a bit more straightforward. Because when I'm just trying to talk about a theme or explain a theme, I don't actually like need to stand inside the game and run through the full environment myself, therefore it's a bit easier to record than just like actually running through the dungeon while I also try to explain to you what the dungeon is and end up running entirely the wrong way. So yeah, thank you for watching, see you the next time, toodaloo.